Doma Sports Talk, worldwide, with some news from the world of boxing. So y'all know what time it is. You ain't in a rush to get concussed, baby. Now, heavyweight news, we were talking about it a couple of days ago about Anthony Joshua. You know, Anthony Joshua and Alexander Usyk probably won't be able to fight that rematch fight, right? And we're probably going to have an interim fight. When we had about 5 or 6 people that were, come in the, in the ones that he might have fought, put it like that, 5 or 6, the ones that he thinks he might fight, right? And we had Louis the Real King Kong Ortiz, Joseph Parker, who said let's get it, basically, Joe Joyce, and you had Agit Kabayal and Otto Wallin. And I thought it was going to be the latter two, Otto Wallin or Agit Kabayal. Those are what I thought. And also, something's happened that's pretty rare, because we don't really see this from this guy. But Joe Joyce, the undefeated heavyweight, who's really I think #1 in the WBO, right? That's why him and Joseph Parker were rumored to fight for that mandatory spot for Alexander Usyk. But now that Joshua needs his interim fight, then Joe Joyce and Joshua, because Joshua just said a few days ago, man, I've boxed Otto Wallin before, right? Twice in the amateurs, and I boxed Joe Joyce and knocked him out in 1 round, and nothing's changed. And he says, if he say ain't nothing changed, go ahead, AJ, tell him. But Joe Joyce has responded, and he just told him some stuff. Joe Joyce said, listen, man, quit the act. You've been given everything, right? That's what he told him. And he told him also, you're a glass cannon. Whatever that means. I don't know if that means his glass chin or whatever, but a glass cannon. People from England will probably tell you what that means. I don't know exactly what that means, but it don't sound right with glass in it when you're talking about boxing. So basically, let's just see what happens. If these two guys fight, I think it's a big fight in England as well. It don't matter. Like I said, the video yesterday or the day before was about Louis the Real King Kong Ortiz. That would be a great fight. Joseph Parker would be a great fight, and Joe Joyce would be a great fight. Otto Wallin, I don't really like that one after fighting somebody 5-23, and Agit Kabayal, I just don't like it, period, right? But those are pretty good fights, and Joe Joyce is coming back now. Joshua, after Joe Joyce came back, it took him 5 days. Anthony's like, man, it took you 5 days to come up with that whack stuff. But then Joe Joyce came back on that. It's whatever we're talking about, let's get it. You want to fight or not. So Joshua has his options for an interim fight. Let's hope it's one of the top 3, which would be Joe Joyce, Joseph Parker, and Louis the Real King Kong Ortiz. Followed by, okay, maybe Otto Wallin, but, Agit Kabayal, unfortunately, I'm being pessimistic here, is the one that I think he's going to fight. But let's see what's happening. Now, we also know he was mentioning Deontay Wilder. And I was telling you, yeah, well, Deontay Wilder saying he's retired. Now he's mentioning Deontay Wilder. But Britain is begging him, don't do that. And what I mean by Britain is a few British people that are prominent in boxing, like a Carl Froch. He said that would be very dangerous to do that, right? Don't fight your boy Deontay Wilder. Now, same thing as Tony Bellew. And here's the thing. Tony Bellew is like, man, don't fight no Deontay Wilder. It's too risky. Now, they have quotes and stuff, a little bit more than just risky. They don't want Joshua to mess with that. And it's funny about Bellew. Because Bellew, doesn't he call Deontay Wilder the worst heavyweight ever and stuff like that? Tony Bellew, I don't know, I got love for Bellew, right? Because he's nuts. I like him. But he always says how bad Deontay Wilder is. Always. And then when they met and Deontay Wilder hugged him, right? He said, man, Deontay Wilder's hands went around me 2 times. I ain't never fighting him. Even though they're the same weight. Deontay Wilder's not really heavier than Tony Bellew. So he can't be that bad, because Bellew was like, I ain't fighting that dude. You know what I mean? Sometimes you can't have it both ways. That's a hypocritical statement. It's like, if he's that bad, then Tony Bellew should have been pushing up on him. Especially after beating David Haye. But he didn't want nothing to do with Deontay Wilder. But he's real bad. He can't beat nobody. Now he's telling you that it's not so good. Joshua better not fight him. Why shouldn't Joshua fight a person that's really the worst heavyweight you've seen? It doesn't work both ways. That's why the truth always comes out, baby. They don't want him and Carl Froch either. And it's a couple of more, but I don't have them right now, so I'm not going to mention the ones that I think that it said something until I can verify that. But at the end of the day, Britain don't want Joshua to fight Deontay Wilder. So let's see what the man going to do it's just very interesting how this is going down. I think he has a few good options for an interim fight. My favorite would be Louis the Real King Kong Ortiz, but I have no problem if it's Joseph Parker, because Joseph Parker deserves it because of that fight that they had with the referee that couldn't speak English. And Joe Joyce is, hey, up and coming. He's, but he's 36 damn years old. And I think he would give Joshua a hard fight just because of what we've been talking about, his work rate and his chin. So let's see what happens going forward. That's interesting stuff, if you ask me. Come on, AJ, what you gonna do? Doma Sports Talk Worldwide. And I'm up out of here, y'all.